So it was a good day for the Seattle Mariners, as not only did they defeat the San Diego Padres to settle for a split, not exactly ideal, but the Mariners did pick up a game on the Houston Astros, as the Astros lost again to the Oakland A's, which, by the way, they've been one of the best teams in baseball in the second half. So got to put the thanks for the Oakland A's to at least give the Mariners some help for a fighting chance to hopefully get to the playoffs. Now, before we get into this, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And also, here's a word from our sponsor, SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RoofTopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. And also, as this game was on September 11th, 2001, as it is the anniversary since the 9/11 terrorist attacks, I just want to once again speak out to all my condolences to all those who lost their lives, as that day was one of the most shaking days in American history. And hopefully, as we go forward again as a country, hopefully we can all be united, whether you are on the left side or the right side, whether you think 9/11 was what you think it was or whatever it was, whatever your opinions are, hopefully in the near future, we will all be together no matter what. So let's get back into Mariners baseball. So it was Mariners won with dominating pitching by starter Brian Wu, who went 6-2 innings, gave up 2 hits, 2 earned runs, unfortunately, 5 strikeouts, and 1 walk that he only gave up. But in the first 6 innings, he was pitching a perfect game, was pitching absolutely efficient. He was completely shutting these guys down. And on top of that, the Mariners gave them pretty good run support. It was RBIs by Cal Raleigh, Luke Raley driving in 2 runs, and even J.P. Crawford drove in a couple runs to make it a 5-0 lead. And maybe we were thinking of a perfect game, which I wasn't even thinking about because I didn't want to jinx it. But of course, in the top of the 7th inning, Root Sports was putting it out there that Brian Wu was pitching a perfect game by saying he had retired something like 18 in a row. And I was like, yep, I think this is where it's going to get screwed up. And little would you know that Fernando Tatis Jr. broke that perfect game with a home run. And then the Padres scored again to make it 5-2. And even prior to that 5-2, Dan Wilson went ahead and pulled Brian Wu for Troy Taylor, which I didn't blame him at all. I think at that point the Padres were figuring it out, and I think Brian Wu was just done because I think after he gave up that home run to Fernando Tatis Jr., I think that just mentally took him down, so Dan Wilson had to make that change. But nevertheless, Mariners bullpen completely shut them down with great pitching efforts by Troy Taylor, although he did give up that hit which led to that run. Then Colin Snyder completely shut them down, and Andres Munoz struck out a couple to secure his 20th save of the season. Now, what is it to be moving forward for the next series, which is going to be against the Texas Rangers, because it's going to be a tough series. Texas has one of their rookie pitchers for the next game, the first game of the series. Then they got to deal with Jacob deGrom on Friday, and it's actually a pitcher to be determined for the Mariners, so we don't even know who the starter is going to be. My prediction is it's probably going to be Emerson Hancock. Yes, he's not on the team yet, but I expect him to get a start, and hopefully Mariners will not have to do a bullpen day, because I don't think the Mariners can afford to even do anything like that where you just put in a bullpen pitcher for like 2 innings and then you just go bullpen from there. Like, I would not do that because I would just be wasting arms, especially when you have a very long series ahead of you. Not only are you going to be playing the Texas Rangers with Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer coming back, then you also got the Yankees, and then that's before you go to Texas again. So hopefully at least they'll have maybe Emerson Hancock to eat some innings. So it's going to be a very tough series against the Texas Rangers. And I would say that even getting a split of that series would be considered a wild success, depending how DeGrom and Scherzer match up against the Mariners. And also, it doesn't get any easier as well as the Mariners, or I'm sorry, as the Houston Astros are going to be playing against the Anaheim Angels, so that's not going to be any easier either, unless Anaheim decides to pull it out of their butts if they're willing to and play actually competitively against the Houston Astros, which I don't expect them to because the Astros are not the Mariners. And to double check where they're playing, Astros will be in Los Angeles at least, or shall I say Anaheim against the Angels. So what I would like to see is maybe the Angels squeak out to a 2 out of 3, and if the Mariners can get a 3 out of 4 on the Texas Rangers, then you can really gain some ground and get really close to that division. And of course, best case scenario, if the Mariners sweep and the Astros get swept and lose to Oakland on top of that, then the Mariners could have the division lead by then, but that's just wishful thinking. I think the more realistic thing is it's going to be 2 out of 3 from the Astros going against the Angels, and also maybe 2 out of 2 or maybe 3 out of 4 against the Texas Rangers. So hopefully the Mariners will be on the top of their game. And we definitely need it, especially Julio Rodriguez, who played absolutely atrocious throughout the entire series. Like, I don't even think he even recorded a hit, and I'm willing to check and see if he even got a hit on the San Diego Padres, because I don't think he did, and it was disappointing. And yeah, Julio Rodriguez was extremely hitless throughout the entire series, including that double play when the Mariners had the bases loaded. So Julio Rodriguez is absolutely going to have to step up. We'd like to see more of Randy Arozarena doing some more work, and hopefully we can get some more clutch work out of Luke Raley and maybe J.P. Crawford because he got that 1-2 RBI effort today, but I don't know. So it's going to be, once again, it's going to be a very tough series, but hopefully the Mariners will find a way to step up to the occasion and take on the likes of Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer. And I remember my friend Ian said on the show that if the Mariners were to lose badly against the Rangers, it's not going to be because the Rangers were necessarily dominant. It's also just going to be because it was more self-inflicting, which the collapse of the Mariners out of that 10-game lead in that division was very self-inflicted. But nothing we can do. It was very much in the past. But hopefully the Mariners will figure out a way to at least remain somewhat competitive against the Texas Rangers. Like, what I would love to see, obviously, is a sweep, but a 3 out of 4. And maybe a split if things go really perfectly, like if the Oakland A's win the next game and the Angels like at least take a 2 out of 3, then maybe there could be some hope there, but it's very wishful thinking. But I don't know what to expect going forward, but I do expect a very competitive series, at least out of the Texas Rangers themselves. But that's all the thoughts I've got. That's going to do it. And I just want to say thank you very much for being part of this channel's growth, and just want to say hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification, and go Mariners.